sinamata somanda kosomhlaba nezulu wena uyasithethelela ngobustana noma sinamata somanda baba wena uyasithethelela ngobustana noma sinamata somanda kosomhlaba nezulu wena uyasithethelela ngobustana sinamata somanda kosomhlaba nezulu wena uyasithethelela ngobustana noma sinamata somanda baba wena uyasithethelela ngobustana noma sinamata somanda kosomhlaba nezulu wena uyasithethelela ngobustana sinamata somanda kosomhlaba nezulu wena uyasithethelela ngobustana noma sinamata somanda baba wena uyasithethelela ngobustana noma sinamata somanda kosomhlaba nezulu wena uyasithethelela ngobustana
hot because we didn't have any heat and air, but we had about 500 kids here. And Jerry said, I called him and I said, Jerry, would you like to provide the art lessons for the kids? Because I had seen some of his art in some of the rec centers and met him at one of the rec centers, and I knew he was a great artist. He said, yeah, sure. I'll come and teach the kids art. And so for a whole summer, Mr. Allen gave himself to Alton Park Development Corporation and provided free art classes all summer. Now, let me tell y'all that these kids, well, they say they were the worst of the worst, but I come to find out they were not the worst of the worst. They just needed some love and some attention and just somebody to spend some time with them because they were extremely talented. They were very intelligent, and the art that these kids produced actually went on exhibit at the Hunter Museum. So their art was featured at Hunter Museum, and they got a lot. I mean, they did some great art. I was like, oh my God, these kids are super talented. And so I just want to say that because you all see him as the artist, but you don't know all the other stuff that he does in this community for our kids and other people. I mean, he's done a lot of stuff. He's done some paintings for me. I remember when the Reverend Al Sharpton was our guest here when I was the NAACP president. I invited him to come and speak at our fundraiser, the Ruby Hurley. And he was the one that rendered the painting of Reverend Al Sharpton. And we presented that to him that night. And it was, I mean, you put the picture next to Reverend Al Sharpton, they look like twins. That's how good he is. And so it brings me honor. And I'm really, really honored that he allowed the African American Education and Heritage Museum to host him and his art here in our museum. This is the first and only African American Educational and Heritage Museum that focuses on our artists and those who present Black art to the community. And so it's a pleasure to work with him, and we are open to other artists. His display will be here, his collection will be here to November the 19th, after which the American Legion, which are the military men that host that are in this building, they rent from us. They will put on a display of the Civil War. And so they're working on that. One of the military men is here. The former commander for the American Legion Post 2091 is here, and some of his other fellow comrades are here as well. And we're just excited about that because we got a lot of people working to make sure that it's going to be a beautiful rendition or reenactment of the Civil War in this museum. So I'm very, very, very happy about that. But tonight we come to celebrate Mr. Richard Allen and all this beautiful work that he has, and everything is for sale. So if you all don't have the handout with the name of the artwork and the price on it, you can. I think they're right here on the table here. Pick it up, and as you go through his exhibition or his exhibit area, if you feel like you want to purchase that, let one of us know. We take credit, cash, everything tonight. We are hooked up, and 25% of the proceeds, Mr. Allen has said he will donate to the Alton Park Development Corporation to enhance and build the youth in our community. And we have a scholarship fund. Yes, we have a scholarship fund for the kids in this community. So 25% of what you give and everything that you give tonight is tax deductible because you will be buying this art under the Alton Park Development Corporation. We partner with him. So after the end of the day, we tally up and we pay his check, and then 25% will remain with the organization. But you will be able to take your receipts to your accountant and get that deducted from your returns. So that's the great news tonight. We have tonight prepared for you all some nice things to eat tonight as you walk through the exhibit. We have some spirits tonight as well for those who want to indulge. We want y'all to feel real loose and feel happy about buying this great art, right? so so when Jerry Allen gets through coming up and talking to you all about his collection, we have another young lady who's here, Miss Marsha. Could you wave your hand? She is one of Chattanooga's best poets, and she is going to be doing some African poetry tonight for us. And her son, I'm just in love with him. Swayyvo is here tonight. Yes, Swayyvo is in the house. And y'all know how hard it is to get Swayyvo, right? It's real hard to get Swayyvo. It is very hard to get Swayyvo. And I would be remiss if I did not tell you all that one of Chattanooga's icons is here tonight, and that's Mr. Edwards, John Edwards, that's over there to my left. Yeah, he's saying whatever, whatever. But y'all know he is the owner of the Chattanooga News Chronicle, which is the only African American print media paper in this city, and has been around for how many years? How many decades? Five? How long it's been around? 35 years, over 3 decades, almost 4 decades. And Art Bill is in the house, and we just have a lot of folks here tonight to show love, and many more will be coming as we go through the night. So I'm not going to take up the time because y'all know I can talk. So I'm going to give it up. I'm going to give it up to Mr. Jerry Allen. Y'all welcome him. Hey. I forgot to tell you all that we are live streaming right now. And so this is playing right now all over the world, all over Chattanooga, and it will play again and again and again on WPTP Radio 100.1 FM. So you can see it on Facebook and YouTube after we're done tonight. Y'all go home and look up WPTP and on YouTube and Facebook, and bam, you'll see y'all on it. All right, where's our engineer? Robin. Okay.
Hello.
Robin is the engineer for the night.
So I did this these paintings. I wanted to mark the 400 years since the first blacks landed at Jamestown, Virginia, and I wanted to mark that time. That's why I did the series. I wanted to show our condition that we lived under when we got here, and be able to. I want everybody to be able to look back and see how far we've come. You know, we've come a long way. A lot of minds have been changed, and there are good things on the horizon for us. So I just wanted to mark this time and show you like the conditions that we lived in. This I did it in 2019. At that time, it was exactly 400 years since the first blacks that came to Jamestown, Virginia. Does anyone have any questions?
How long have you been painting?
How long I've been painting? See, I drew up until I was about 30. Then I started painting. So I drew for about 30 years. I drew everything I could see. I wanted to learn how to draw everything. So by the time I started painting, I started painting realism because I had drew realism for so long. And it's been about 25 years now, 55. So yeah, I started when I was about 30.
Mr. Allen,
Yes.
I would be remiss for real if I did not let you all know that we have Chattanooga's legendary, iconic civil rights leader in this house tonight, Mr. Johnny Holloway. You all give it up. Give it up. And Mr. Holloway will be talking here once you're done with some of the stuff that he's done and attributed to this museum. He's one of our curators. He's helped to create this, and he's still working. We're just finished with phase 1. We got phase 2 and phase 3. So Mr. Holloway came tonight to help celebrate Mr. Allen and his exhibit. So we thank you all for coming and giving him an opportunity to share what he's done in this city to make it better.
Thank you. Did a great job. I love this boat. I've never seen anything like it. It's beautiful, and the people on it. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, I'm sure you have, but you know, you've been places that have stuff like this, but I have. I like it. I'm glad you brought it here.
This is the only legend in here, Johnny Holloway. How you doing?
Okay, Miss Allen, you can go ahead and finish, because we still, we got the floor.
Okay, I'm just not used to speaking to
That's
a bunch
okay.
of
You
folks.
speak, you speak through your art, we know.
So I did this series about it's been about 4 years, and then the last show I had with this exhibit in the back here is was called Fire and Rust. I did it earlier this year. That was an exhibit I had, and there was a lot more pieces than that, but it was all dealing with rust and fires. There was campfires and matches, and there was a lot. There's a lot more to the series, but I enjoy. I have a studio at my house, and I spend more time in my studio than I do outside of my studio. Okay, because I love being in there. My wife has to call me to come and eat. Come and eat. Come to bed. I'll stay up all night painting. I love to paint. I just love to create artwork. So that's what I do. And I teach art too. I teach at Splash Youth Arts. I love being able to go into places and show people what they can do. So I have art classes with 3-year-olds, and I have art classes with 93-year-olds. I'm able to go into the senior centers and have art classes and the daycares, and I love it. It's, it's at this point in my life, it's like I'll talk to a lot of people who don't like their job. I love my job. I can't believe I get paid to do this. I get paid to do art. I get paid to teach art. It's amazing that I get paid to do it. So I'm really happy, and I got a lot of work in here from different parts of from different thoughts. I got a lot of Chattanooga pieces around the side there. So I want you guys to just take a look at it and see if there's anything you like. Come talk to me about it, and we can work something out. I appreciate you all coming. Give yourselves a hand. I appreciate y'all coming.
It is indeed an honor to be with you on this wonderful occasion at this amazing venue. My name is Marcia Davis. I am the president of Ramen Chat Interactive Poetry Organization, and I have some poetry to share with you this evening. I'm going to share one, maybe two pieces, and then Swayyvo is going to share some music with you, and then I'm going to come back if that's okay. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Though stand over me and beat my bare body in dirt. With each swing of your whip, it deepens the hurt, and yet I pity you. You may beat me till I fall to the ground, but that don't mean I'll bow down. See, I pity you. You may beat me till my flesh starts a splitting, but the battle ain't over, and I ain't a quitting, cause I pity you. You may beat me till I cry out again and again, but that don't mean that I've given in, cause I pity you. You may beat me till I do what you say. That don't mean you got your way. I pity you. You may chain me down and beat me near death shackle me, bind me till I draw my last breath, and still I'm gonna pity you. You see, I pity you because one day I'll rise up and I won't hurt no more. While you burning eternally in the hellfire down below. For the life you live in, your children's children will be cursed. You see, you may beat me the most, but in the end, you're going to suffer the worst. And for that, I pity you. This old body you bruising will return to the dirt, and the new body I'm gonna get, it can't be hurt. I'm gonna trade these bruises on my head for a golden crown. Trade these slave rings you gave me for a long white gown. So go ahead and swing your whip, because you can't touch my soul. On me, you have no dominion. On me, you have no control. Yeah, I'm your slave. But through Jesus Christ, I'm alive and I'm free. And though I pity you, I'm going to pray for you, even while you's a beating on me. Sweet Lord, sweet coming for to carry me home. Sweet Lord, sweet cherry, coming for to carry me home. The second poem I'm going to share is entitled Our Heritage. Screaming babies snatched from mama's bosom, fathers fighting and daddies laying life down in hope of saving their children, stolen from home and dropped in a strange land feared by all, not just some. For you see, we are the only race of people in this nation that didn't choose to come. We were uprooted and replanted by force. We envied the pigs, the dogs, the cow, and the horse, for they were allowed to be the thing that God created them to be. They were treated as the animals that they were. They were well fed, well treated, and they were free. We are a people whose bodies were bound and shackled by chains, whose mouths were forced shut and cheeks wore permanent tear stains, with sun-scorched foreheads and noses flat and wide. Some chose to run, while others chose to hide. Choking back screams, dreams, and hope denied. Our people chose to live when life would have been so much easier if they just died. With a shadowed backdrop of strange fruit hung from poplar trees, and all the while, for us, the fruit had faces and names. They were all somebody's child. They stole us from our land, tied our native tongue, silenced our song. They changed our name, and to this day, we still don't know where we belong. They knew having knowledge held power. They didn't want us to know that we were kings and queens. And every time we held our fists in the air, they'd hold our necks beneath their knees. Yet when the flickering glimmer of hope in their enslaved soul wanted to diminish, they refused to let life's light go out because they knew their work was not finished. They stayed the course, for they knew there was a legacy they carried. For the unquenchable fire that burned in their souls was for their unborn seed. We are the seeds of the torn and tortured slave, the sharecropper who was beaten when he misbehaved, the unappreciated domestic who nursed and raised their kids, the soldier disrespected no matter the great things he did. Born from the very dirt on which they did bleed, sweat, and trod, we were destined to be created. Our existence is ordained by our God. Each one of us was chosen before the beginning of time to survive. We are here for a reason. It's not by chance that we're alive. Our bloodline, our heritage, our legacy. When so many didn't make it, why did we? Why did your great great grandmama, the beatings and abuse endure? It's because she knew that you were in her future and she had to make sure that you were given the chance that she knew that she would never see. You are the walking, talking miracle that embodies a destiny. So, what are you doing with this blessed life you've been given? What wisdom are you imparting to your loved ones? What legacy are you building for your children? Are you being tossed to and fro by the waves of life with no rudder or navigation for the cover of night? Are you not your brother's keeper? Are you making excuses and casting blame? Are you wasting your life away swiping and scrolling? Are your children doing the same? Is this what our foreparents fought for? Is this what they envisioned? Their desire was bigger and greater for us, and we should all be on a mission to learn about our history and reclaim the treasures that are our birthright, to be pillars in our community with standards held to the highest heights, as a beacon of light, imparting the power of wisdom to the unlearned and the weak, teaching and reaching those left behind and speaking for those unable to speak. For you see, we are forever connected, our lives intertwined, an intricate tapestry by God's great design, forming an unbreakable bond defined by melanated royalty, forever connecting the history of a people who fearlessly faced the enemy. You see, our responsibility and the debt we owe is far greater than any of us can ever pay alone. That is why we need each other to make this legacy live on. Built upon the scarred backs of our people, we've come through, rising above the struggle and traveling down this road only traveled by a faithful few. Remember that you live the dream your forefathers desired, and that to whom much is given, much is required. We are the hope. We are the wisdom. We are the sage. Our children will write about us in the history books of the future. What would be on your page? Thank you. I am now honored to present to you my son, none other than Swayyvo. Let's welcome him as he comes.
How y'all doing? Y'all doing all right? All right. I'm blessed and honored to be here. Thanks again, Jerry, for inviting me. I had heard of Jerry plenty of times. I had seen some of Jerry's work, but being able to look at all of it in one sitting and being able to take the time to digest it all, it just has let me know how extremely talented this brother is. I also I came into a very pleasant surprise. This man, so he has one plan of me right here behind Miss Woods here, uh, and it's amazing. But he has another one that he did that's behind the glass that completely threw me for a loop. It threw me for a loop. He explained to me like, Swayyvo, I didn't have much to give you, but I wanted to give you this, and I looked at it, and it's like there is not a price that you can put on the talent that this brother got. There it goes. There it goes. You cannot. That is a gift of all gifts. So thank you, brother. I really appreciate that. That's a forever gift. That's a forever gift. So I appreciate y'all. Give a round of applause for Mr. Jimmy.
While he's getting ready, if those, you have this restroom, the women's restroom is in the front of the building, and the men's restroom is straight down this hall in the back. The block is supposed to be,
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
The media wants to get one quick group shot before you start with the next section. So the board members of, Austin Park Development Corporation, Mr. Johnny Holloway, and the people who are on the program. Yes. You want to scan it or just kind of? Board members. Oh, yes, Swayyvo, we're doing a group shot. Yeah, we're doing a group shot. Chattanooga News Chronicle. Arkville. Arkville.
Let the older person sit down.
What is that one written? I didn't go to Vietnam. Are you a veteran? No. I'm you guys said no. Are you American? You grew up about a mile from here.
Messed it up.
You make Eric's choice.
Oh, we gotta have that in order though, so.
Just stay where you were.
I write y'all name down. So when we spell your name, too, I want to
Yes.
You know where we got it.
Give you something. CB, how you doing, man?
All right.
See you in a while.
Trying to keep you okay. Talk to Corey.
He texts me every now and then, you know, on Facebook. Yeah.
Jerry, what was you saying? Yeah, Marcia, spell your name, because I don't spell it wrong.
He being
Then Swayyvo. Swayyvo, you spell it S-W-A-Y-Y.
I don't think about y'all.
Brand. You ain't gotta do that.
They don't know what I know.
We're gonna continue the program, and you all make sure you all look at this box. Anything y'all wanna take home, let us know.
The saxophone gave you some for the stage. And the artist just can't solve it. And that's what it is, that's about.
Oh, you talking about the president, right? Okay. I can really tell you, yeah. Just keep that on. No. Oh, I know how that goes.
So there are two more poems that I'm going to share with you this evening, and then we will hear from none other than Mr. Johnny Holloway. So I look forward to hearing what this wise, wise man has to share with us. This particular poem that I'm going to share was actually written during the time of George Floyd. Chest stuck out and head held high. When did protect and serve become today you die? You stand before me in your armor of blue, your blood runs red just like mine. It could one day be your beloved son at the unfortunate end of the enemy's gun. And when the shooter decides to be judge and jury too, I pray that they have more mercy on you than you've had on me, than you've had on mine. Don't fear me, hear me, and bear this in mind. We are marching and standing and singing this song to get your attention and to right the wrong. We are marching to heal the hurt. Eyes turned to the sky and heels dug in the dirt. Marching for those who can march no more. Standing for those who came way before. Fighting for those still to come, honoring every daughter, preparing every son, standing for the mothers who cried and wept, standing on the promises yet unkept by the land of the free and the home of the brave that shackled us, bound us, and called us their slave. They've stripped the manhood from our men when their manhood was all they had. And they raped our mothers and daughters, and they wonder why we mad. This is our home that loves us not, where liberty and justice somehow forgot that there's room. Through all distress and gloom, there's room. A change is coming soon, there's room. It is our duty to answer the call because there's room on this road for us all. No justice, no peace. For to know justice is to know peace. Hand in hand, we march, heart to heart, we stand, braving the elements and facing the backlash and praying God will heal our land. We still can't breathe. And we can't forget that our very existence is seen as a threat. Our power must be something to behold when our very presence strikes fear in those who hold the power to set us free. And you get upset when we take a knee. Knowing that when you take a knee, you take a life away. And when we take a knee, we bow our heads and we pray to God from daybreak through the dark of night, asking Him to remember our people and asking Him to watch over our fight. For there is a price to be paid when you stand in times when it's easier to sit. There is a price to be paid when you fight, when it's so much easier to quit. And we are willing to pay the price with sweat, tears, and even blood. It's been a long road and it's been a hard fight, but we ain't giving up because there's room. Through all distress and gloom, there's room. A change is coming soon, there's room. It is our duty to answer the call because there's room on this road for us all. You see, we come before you brave. We come before you bold. We got anger in our eyes, but we got love deep in our soul. Our hearts are weary from moaning and breaking. Our backs are worn and burdened and shaken. The struggle is not new to us. We stand and demand what's due to us. But there will be no peace for any of us until there is justice for all of us. There's room. Through all distress and gloom, there's room. A change is coming soon. There's room. So take your position, stand and answer the call, because there's room on this road for us all. Thank you. The last poem that I will be sharing. Not by coincidence, fluke, nor happenstance was any one of us given the chance to live, to be, to do, and to prove our worth. Because you see, even before our birth, the Lord ordained the planters of every seed in this room to walk this earth, to thrive, and to bloom. And somehow, through all adversity, God thought it not robbery to bless our roots by blessing their seed, preserving our heritage and our rich legacy, because y'all, we made it. When so many did not, we overcame it. God neither forsook nor forgot, so we claim it. Because it was God's divine plan for us to be here in this place, to hug and to laugh, to learn and to grow and to see each other's face. For you see, our one generation plants the tree so the next can enjoy its shade. And then that generation is in a position to build on the sacrifices made. We are the glimmer of hope in the soul of the slave, the unquenchable fire that made death behave, the will to survive in the domestic housemaid to make sure her seed was planted before she went to her grave. We are the reason the soldier returned to this land that loved him not, the desire for freedom in every Black man that justice somehow forgot. So no matter how tough your life may seem, remember, we continue to live our ancestors' wildest dream. So as we live for those who live no more. We give honor to those who came way before, paving the way for those still to come, honoring every daughter, preparing every son, cherishing the spirit of those who cried and wept, and standing on the promises yet unkept. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, we have already come. 'Twas grace that brought us safe thus far, and grace will lead us home. Thank you.
All right, y'all. You can do better than this. Swayyvo, I see where you get your essence. Right here.
Oh, yeah. That's so outstanding. You'll see our intermission that's going on with fundraising for the artists. And it'll be over at Chuck's Theater Center. That's also they can have ways you can walk around outside. Maybe inside. So there'll be a lot of gigs. 5:30. So you want to just hold the mic comfortable with that? Yeah.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. They told me I was the next person to speak. But before I do anything else, I want to pay a tribute to what you just experienced. Maybe you don't know it, but you have been a part of the Ma'afa. That last word over there. It means the way out and back through. Lee Henderson and I went to New York a few years ago to experience the Ma'afa. It was a 5-day event in New York. And what they did, we experienced the many things that you have talked about here today. They had a real replica of a slave ship. They had real people on that slave ship. They sung songs, they danced, they took us back through our experience. That's what you have experienced today. With the poet, with the saxophonist, he did a beautiful job. And you always got to remember Dr. Woods, he just does everything. So that's what you have experienced today, just a little bit of the Ma'afa. But the Ma'afa was such an experience with Lee Henderson, he stopped doing drugs and he became a minister. And that's what he is today. The thing I want to talk to you about is what we have here today in Koto. We have a museum, and it's the Black History Museum. And it started in my house. Everything I do, I start in my house with my children and my wife. If they approve it, I carry it to my church. If my church approve it, then I think I have been a success. But then we had a new preacher to come, and he had another idea. He wants to put it on screen. So he's one of the modern ministers. He's got all the gadgets and everything in his church. So he said, you take all this stuff down and we're going to put it on screen. I'm still waiting on him to put it on screen, but I think he's going to put it that way. I think he's going to do it because preachers don't lie. You laugh. You laugh. What you laughing at? But anyway, I had this all stored in a warehouse. A lot of the stuff you see here, I took it down and put it in the storehouse. And then I met Dr. Woods. I heard a lot about Dr. Woods. The more people tried me to convince not to associate with her, the more they talked about it, the more I liked her. And so I came out here one day and I saw this building. I said, boy, this would make a great museum. And she said, well, why don't you make one? I said, okay, I will. And so we start talking to people, and it's not all my work. This is a collection of a lot of people. We just talked to a lot of people. They donated a lot of this stuff, and they still donate stuff. And we still want you to donate stuff because we can frame it and we can put it up. And we have a great vision, and the vision is beyond me now. I'm 88 years old, so it goes beyond me. But we have a great vision for this place. And what we have here is a black museum. And when you come in the entrance, you see a flag, American flag, you see the African flag, you see three kind of flags up there. And what we try to depict, that African history is world history. It's not black history, it's world history. You got to remember that. It's not American history, it's world history. The next thing you look at is a a picture of Africa. And Africa is not its real name. That's the name the Europeans gave it after they conquered it. What the African name is Abala. Now don't try to pin me down to that pronunciation, but that's pretty close. And what that means is a great land. That's the meaning of it, is great land. The next thing you see in the museum is the kings and queens that had great historical governments even before all this history that you was taught. They existed before then. We existed before Christ. We existed after Christ. And you will see that on the wall telling you that. But most people think our history started with slavery. That's not true. Our history is a world history. It is the beginning of history. You got to remember that. Once you remember that, you can really appreciate who you are. But if you think your history started with slaves, you have diminished yourself. You got to remember that too.
All right.
So from slavery, from the great dynasties of Africa, we come to where they captured us and brought us to America. You'll see that on that too. Well, we depicted the life we had before slavery and the life we had while we was in slavery. And that's what you can see on the walls. And you come on down, and then you see the struggle we've gone through. And the people who have made struggle in Chattanooga, as well as this whole nation. You will see some great inventors, you will see some great historicals, you will see great leaders, and all of the people that you heard of, and some of them you haven't heard of. You'll see them all on this wall. You'll see a lot of stuff about some of the cities and towns like Black Wall Street. Now, yeah, we know a lot about. You might know something about Black Wall Street, but that was about 30. That was just a lot of Wall Streets that took place in America. For instance, do you know that Central Park in New York used to be a black town? They just covered it up with dirt. Did you know that when they made dams, they always had slaves that lived on the river? Because when we moved here, we lived on the river. And when they cut the dams, they raised water up. They didn't tell the people anything. They just covered up they didn't try to tear the land, tear the houses down, nothing. They just covered them up. And eventually, you're gonna see it one day if you live long enough. With the environment the way it's going now, the water gonna recede, and you're gonna see a lot of that land that you're gonna see a lot of those houses and stuff they covered up still there, still preserved by the water. You will see that one day. There's no doubt about it. It's already happening. And so then you come on down and you will see things like we have a black college wall. We haven't got all the black colleges yet, but we're gonna put every black college there is in America. We're gonna have something to represent that black college. And the next thing we're gonna do, how many people know the history of Howard? Really know the history of Howard, how old it is. It's an old school, and it's got a tremendous history. I remember, how many people remember Booker T. Washington? We tried to get some information. We got a little history on Booker T. Washington, but what happened to Booker T. Washington when they quit using it, they just threw all the historical stuff away, all the pictures of the graduates there, they just threw them away. And I can't find anybody who collected in that stuff. That's crazy. That's crazy. To let our history be thrown away, just thrown in ditches and nobody tried to preserve it. So we're trying to reserve that. We got a little history on Booker T. Washington, but we're going to do Howard and Booker T. Washington together because those are two black schools. And a lot of people thought when they played football, when we played against each other, they thought that was a college game. We had thousands of people. We would fill up the stadium to see Howard and Booker T. Washington play. Nobody remembers that. Very few people remember that. We're gonna try to fix that. And then we have other things that we're doing. So the churches is very important to the movement. Now we had some people here, Maxine Cousin, who remember Maxine Cousin?
Yeah.
Who remember around more with the Black Panther Party. We have all of that will be depicted in this museum. But you got to remember the people who fought for you when there was nobody else fighting for you. We had the Unity Group. The Unity Group was made up of all the different organizations. The NACP was a legal arm of the Unity Group. And then we had the Black Panther Party. We just let them do what they wanted to do with the Unity Group. We didn't try to tell them nothing. The Action Coordinating Council was the action arm of the Unity Group. We wanted to protest, we would go to them. Reverend McDaniel, Second Baptist Church, that was the leader of the Unity Group. And then Operation Push was a thread that tied them all together. We was an organization that talked to everybody else. And we kept all the groups informed about what the other groups were doing. And we had a good thing going called the Unity Group. The Unity Group was still here. But the only thing they do now is have the Martin Luther King birthday parade. I think that's about the only thing they do. And you have a speaker to come in, and we still exist. We just haven't got the grassroots aspects of it like we need. We don't have young people like we need. We got old people like me. The only reason they call me the great civil rights leader, I'm the only one living. I'm the only one that's left. All the rest of them dead. And so I have to carry on the legacy of all the rest of them. We have picked up here all of the churches. The churches play a very important role in the movement. We had Second Baptist Church with Reverend McDaniel. We had Olivet Baptist Church with Reverend Richard. We had Wesley Temple with Reverend Wright. And we had Reverend Collins of Santa United Methodist Church. And we had Reverend Griffith of on the west side. What's the name of that church over there? No, it was no. It was I come up with that another while. But anyway, we got the kindergarten over there, right there at the foot of right across from the house.
Wasn't that new?
New stuff. That's it. Well, I like to tell this story. Yeah.
If you have a Ford Explorer, you're blocking somebody in the bus. Okay, all right.
I like to tell you this story about my Reverend Lord Griffin. When he first came to town, I picked up a newspaper and I was a white preacher. Went on that page and read the tennis. And he found them all in the office. And I jumped up and shouted, "Where's my kind of preacher? I'm going to join the church." I went over and introduced myself to him, and we got together, and we've been friends ever since. And what we did, we was the two guys that organized the first Martin Luther King birthday parade. The, the temperature was 15 degrees, and we had 5,000 people in Chattanooga to watch the parade. Can you remember 5,000 people standing out in cold weather watching the parade? Just can you remember a parade coming down the street at 15 degrees? And we invited all the schools. It was a mess, but we invited all the schools and Central and City High School. That was white school. The band wanted to play, but nobody wanted to give them started to play. So they told them, said, if you want to go play, all of you go play on your own. So a ragtime little group came down from their band and they played in the parade. That's all. But everybody, Howard was there, and everybody played in the parade, but we had a big parade. It was fat. I couldn't believe it. I came down the street saying, what they doing standing out in the cold? But it was cold that day. I never forget it. And we went down to Reverend Robert Rich's church, and we had a meeting at that church to end the parade. And it was something to hear. And I got all that documented in a book form, and you'll be able to see that when we display it in the museum. But it was a great time. But besides the churches and the individuals that worked in the movement was very good for us. But we don't have that now. And if there's any young people who want to sit down and talk about how we can get that back, I'll be willing to share as much as I can with them. Because we need that. We don't have any grassroots organization working in the interest of the Black community. Everybody else now is either working for the government and saying they're working for the community, but they paid by the government. And if you paid by somebody, that's who you work for. There ain't nothing wrong with that because I work for TV, so I work for TV. So there's nothing wrong with the job. It's nice to have a job. But it's not what you can do because you're limited when you work for somebody. And so we need somebody who is independent of that job. Now you got to risk something now. You got to risk something. If you don't want to risk nothing, you can't work for poor people. You cannot work for poor people unless you risk something. I'm talking to you, Dr. Woods. But that's very important. Then the other thing I'd like to share with you is that I got interested in this thing many years ago. When I was in high school, I was always loved history. Although our history was messed up, they tried to teach me that Egypt were not in Africa. That's what they taught me in high school, y'all. Egypt was not in, I'm looking at the map, and Egypt was in Africa. I see that. But when I put on the test, I said Egypt was in Asia Minor because that's what my teacher told me. And if I want to get out of that class, that's what I had to put down. You understand that? So don't argue with the people in charge if you go trying to get somewhere. I went to Alabama A&M. It was the worst experience I ever had in my life. Alabama A&M. The people in Alabama thought Tennessee was up north. That's crazy. The first meeting we had at Alabama A&M was trying to teach us how to treat white people in Alabama. I walked out of the meeting, went on back to my room. Next thing I know, I'm before the whole disciplinary committee asked me why did I walk out of the room. I told them, said, I didn't come down here for no home training. My mother and father taught me home training. I came down for something else. I came down here to play basketball for one thing. Another thing, try to get education. And that's the first experience I had with that. Trying to teach me how to treat white people. I said, my parents taught me the person treat me right, I treat them right. And you mess with me, I mess with you back. That's the way I was trained. That's what my dad taught me. That's what I do today. That's what I taught my children. So Alabama A&M was very good to me, but it really taught me a whole lot. The best person I met at Alabama A&M was Reverend Blackwell, Professor Blackwell. He was Martin Luther King's legal representative. He was a lawyer, legal representative for the Southern Christian Leadership Council. And this, and he told us when we walked in the room, he taught political science. He walked in the room, he said, now, you're gonna have to buy this book. It's a book about Alabama, the history of Alabama, how to act in Alabama. He said, you got to buy this book. He said, that's the law. And you must always follow the law. He said, you bring me the receipt, I'll give you a seat. You bring the book in my room, I'm gonna flunk you. Because it's nothing but propaganda. And he said, I'll give you your book when you come in the room. You know what he gave us? The Constitution of the United States of America. That's always that. I know the Constitution of the United States of America. I know my rights. And that's how I learned. And he was very instrumental in my life in changing me in the direction of how I feel about what to do for Black people now. He was very instrumental in my life. Another instrument in my life was that I was in the Air Force and I was assigned to Japan. I went to Japan, and when I always go to the library when I go to any place first place I go to is the library to see what kind of library they got. I went to Japan, and in Japan, can you imagine that? It was just as far from here to that back wall back there was books about Black people, written about Black people, never seen it before in my life. Never. I said, in Japan. I come over in Japan and see all these books about Black people, written by Black people, about Black people. So I decided I'm gonna read all of them.
All right.
So the librarian, I was going to the library so much in my spare time, I always went to the library. She set up a table in the corner and said, Holloway's Corner.
Wow.
And that's where I learned a lot about Black folks. In Japan, I learned more about Black folks in Japan. I knew where Black folks was. I said, this is crazy, but that's the truth. And so I studied that. And that's when I decided.
Yes, sir. All right. Yes, sir.
All right.
That's when I decided I'm going to dedicate my life fighting for Black people.
All right.
That's all I do.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I've done that. What I'm doing right now.
We done did some more. Yes. Back in the 80s.
You don't know what Black people have been through. And what they still going through.
All
I
right.
got a copy of the 2025 book. I got a copy of it. And it's crazy.
Sir.
It is crazy, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Now you go talking about taking you back as close to slavery as you can get. That book doesn't. That book doesn't. I haven't read it all, but I read most of it. And I read the part about education. That's my thing is education. And I read that part about education and what they want to do with education. They want to get rid of the education department. Just hold, just get rid of it. But if they can't get rid of it, they're gonna do it peacefully. And they're gonna start out by the voucher system. How many people know what the voucher system is? The voucher system where they take money from education and give it to the private school. They don't care what kind of private school it is, as long as it's private. They give it to the private religious schools, they give it to the old private schools that rich white people go through, they give it to them, they give it to everybody that call themselves private. And then they have some schools they call charter schools. They give it to them. They're trying to do away with education. And education has been our foundation.
That's right.
Education is the foundation, along with religion. You got to put those two together, education and religion. I know we give preachers a hard time, we give church a hard time. I know I did, because I told my wife I wasn't going to church no more. When I came home from the military, I was through with church. And she looked at me and said, and my wife was very religious. She looked at me and said, what you gonna do when you take children to church? I said, children can go to church, I'll take them to church, but I'm not going. And she looked at me and said, you know, that's really hypocritical. I said, I know it is, but they more hypocrites than I am in the church. So we had that little discussion, and I took the children to church for a number of years until Reverend McDaniel came to Second Baptist Church. He said, we got a new preacher at church. She said, he sounds like a preacher that you might like. I said, are you joking? She said, no, I'm not joking. You ought to go talk to him. So I usually listen to my wife most of the time. So I went up and talked to Reverend McDaniel. I said, Reverend McDaniel, this is what I like to do with church. He said, what would you like to do with church? I began to tell him all the things I want to do with church. I just put a whole lot of stuff. I putting ping pong tables in church, pool tables in church, all that stuff. That stuff that almost put me out of church when I first brought it up. They almost put me out of church, talking about church. They almost put me out of church when I was a teenager because I wanted to pool. I thought I ought to have pool tables in church. I carried to the church. Y'all ought to put pool tables in church. They looked at me and thought I was crazy. They almost put me out of church as a teenager. And so I talked to Reverend McDaniel about it. He said, that sounds pretty good to me. I wasn't listening to him, so I just got him walked out because I thought he had said everything other preachers say. And I got to the door and I stopped. I said, what did you say? He said, sound like a pretty good idea, but you don't expect me to do all this. He said, I got a church to run. I got senior citizens. I got young people. I got old people. I got all kinds of people I got to do in church. I don't have time to do all the stuff you want to do. If you want to be the athletic director, you be the athletic director. But don't expect me to be the athletic director. And that's how I got started with young people. And I've been dealing with young people ever since.
All right.
And it's amazing to me. Well, all you got to do is listen to young people. Don't go try telling young people nothing. Just listen to young people. Just listen to young people. If you listen to them, you'll learn a lot. You'll learn a lot what they want, how they want to do it, and then you try to help them do it. That's very important. I never will forget Mayor Cabinet. They was having trouble. The children at Riverside High School, never will forget it. They said, we're going to integrate the skating rink to the city of Chattanooga, just like that. They put everybody on notice. They're going to integrate the skating rink. And that upset everybody in Chattanooga when they said that. So they had a meeting down at City Hall, and they was talking about what can we do? They said, who can talk to young people? Well, I had a whole bunch of young people say, Johnny Holloway, that fellow who Second Baptist Church, he know how to talk to young people. But they called me down and said, so we want you to talk. Said, we want you to talk to the students at Riverside High School. I said, you want me to talk to them? They said, yeah. I said, what do you want me to tell them? That shut them up right there. They didn't know what to say to them. So they all had things down there. So they asked me would I go up there and talk to them. I went up to Riverside High School. I said, I didn't come here to talk to y'all. White folks sent me up here to talk to y'all, but I came up here to listen to you. I said, what you want me to tell the white people? They told me, said, we're going to integrate the skating rink on such and such a date. I went back to my people and said, well, what they say? They said they're going to integrate the skating rink on such and such a date. And if y'all can do it before then, that's good. But if you don't do it, we're going to integrate the skating rink. I said, it seems like to me, it's very simple. Y'all open it up before they integrate it. That's the message they sent down here. So and believe it or not, them fools got together and said, how can we get the skating rink integrated before they can integrate themselves? And they opened it up just like that. Nothing but a threat. The mayor and all the city fathers got together and got with the business people, and they opened up the skating rink to everybody. Just by a simple threat, the young people did that.
All right.
All you got to do is listen to young people. They tell you how they can't tell you too much about the past, but they can sure tell you how to deal with the future. And that's all I ever done, just listen to young people. I never tried to tell them nothing, because I always told them they know more about where they want to go than I do.
I heard that.
Because all I can do is tell you about the past.
All right.
I said, when you want to know about the past, come and talk to me. But for the future is yours. That's the way I talk to young people. I never try to tell them anything unless they ask me. And I used to take them around in the church van, carry them to places they never cared before. Did you know I found some church out in Alder Park, never been downtown? Never been downtown. They thought Chattanooga was a black town because the only time they been downtown was on Saturday. I said, y'all, what? And I just started carrying them around different places, letting them see things. Some they never seen taking place and never been before. That's what you got to do for young people. That's what you got to do for young people. Just take them somewhere they never been before. Quit trying to tell young people what to do and how to think and listen to them. And they'll tell you what to do for them. They'll tell you every time. I know another story I got to tell about a young person, my son. All my children went to college, okay? So anytime they had a seminar on going to college, I'd take my children to it. I had one son say he wanted to be a welder. So I take him to these seminars. He said, "Eric, for 3 times now, I'm stupid as I am. I'm taking him. He done told me what he wanted to be. I'm taking him to a college seminar. And every time I take him to one, he said, are they going to talk about welding? I said, I don't know. And I take him to him. He was disappointed when he left. He didn't say nothing about welding. It finally got in my stupid head that I need to get with this kid because he wants to be a welder. So what did I do? I started looking around the high schools and said, what's the best welding high school in town? You know where it was? At Howard.
Howard.
I said, you need to go to Howard, son. He said, why? I said, that's where the best welding class is. He went to Howard, came out of Howard, had a scholarship to Chattanooga State Tech, went out to Chattanooga State Tech, learned how to be one of the best welders at Chattanooga State, walked out of Chattanooga State. Same day he graduated, he got a job. And he's still welding today. Now, I told him, I said, now, if you really want to make some money, you need to go to the shipyards. I said, now, they make some real welding money. I said, but he don't want to, he's a family man. He figure out to make enough money here, right here, to stay with my family. That's more important than making a whole lot of money. That's what he told me. That's what a young person told me. I'm trying to get him to make more money. He's trying to build a family. He know he can't build a family working way over here and his family's over here. And so you listen to them. That's all I'm saying. They are amazing. Young people are amazing if you listen to them. But most people want to tell them what to do. And they're not going to listen to you. They're not going to listen to you. Just sit down and talk to them. And if they ask you questions, answer. Don't try to take them nowhere else. Just answer the question. Just answer the question. But then listen to them. They need to be listened to. I thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, one other thing I like to say to you. In this book I get next there were 267 slave ships that participated in slave trade in America. All the names of slave ships in that book.
You all give our civil rights activist icon a round of applause. We were educated tonight. And guess what? WPTP Radio 100.1 FM recorded everything tonight, and you all can go back and watch it forevermore, because we were live streamed tonight, and we record all of our shows. And so starting tonight, you can go home, go to your Facebook or your YouTube channel, WPTP 100.1 FM, and listen to him again. And you can share it with your families all over the world. Wherever they have internet, they can listen to WPTP and what happened tonight. So I thank you all for coming. And in addition to what Mr. Holloway has said tonight, we are forming a National Action Network chapter here in Chattanooga. He's a founding member. I'm a founding member, but we need 25 members to form an official and charter a chapter here in Chattanooga. And I have all the forms right here. This is Reverend Al Sharpton's national organization, and Chattanooga was asked to be one of the chapters in the nation, and we're going to do it. We just need a few more, and the membership dues per year is $25. So if you know of anyone, if you want to be a member of the National Action Network, please stop by here or call me and let me know, and we'll make sure that you become a member of National Action Network. I thank you all for coming tonight. Mr. Allen, I'm going to turn it over to you for the last remarks, and then you all, if you want to shop some more, and then you're dismissed after that. And please enjoy the food. Thank you. Absolutely. I'm going to give you a few. Yes. Yes. Let the young people know. I love what Mr. Holloway said. The young people are leading us into the future. We'll tell you about the past, but the young people are leading us into the future. So they definitely need to be a member of National Action Network.
I want to thank you all for coming. I appreciate you all coming out today. Um, thanks for Marcia. Thanks for Swayyvo. I appreciate you did a great job. Thanks. Um, appreciate the people that purchase artwork. Appreciate you. Thanks. Yep. You can follow me, Jerry Allen. I'm on Facebook. Um, Jerry Allen. Also, we have a class at the library on Wednesdays. I want to mention we have a free class. Anyone can participate. Just show up. We have all the supplies for you. It's a free class every Wednesday at 4 o'clock. And anyone can, you can bring your whole family. You can bring, if you just have some kids you want to come and do art, they can come by and participate. So it's absolutely free, 4 o'clock on Wednesdays. And thanks again. All right.